Welcome to Soul, a weekly entertainment show on fashion, arts and culture, relationships, and mental health. Our co-hosts are Imani Warren and Dr. Delvena Thomas. Now introducing our host, Nicky Says YOLO, Nicky Gelin.
Ooh, this beat, y'all, it's so smooth. Okay, everybody, so I'm Nicky Says You Only Live Once with MIA Soul, and we have a special guest today. Now, the Miami Book Fair 2023, it is happening. It's happening pretty soon, and we want you to be a part of the community that believes in information and knowledge, knowing and understanding one's history and participating in the history in the making. So the Miami Book Fair is happening on November 12th through the 19th. It is taking place in Miami-Dade. So go on the website, support the community. And our first guest, he is the author of Last on His Feet, Jack Johnson, and the Battle of the Century. Now introducing Adrian Matejka. Welcome to MIA Soul. And did I pronounce your last name correctly?
No, it's Matejka, but it's okay.
What did I say? The J, I want to say like Tej.
Yeah, look, yeah, no, that J is
Matejka.
silent. It messes everybody up, Nicky. It's okay.
It's very unique. So what's your background?
Well, I'm Black. My father's Black. My mother's white, but that's my stepfather's name. So
Okay,
yeah. So that came from it's a Polish name. But yeah, I am so glad to be here with you, Nicky, and I'm so excited to be in Miami because like we were talking about earlier, I'm in Chicago and it was snowing, and I would rather be there than.
And we can't wait to have you down here. So let's get right into it. So we know you as a poet and having been the recipient of many awards, New York, New England Award, and the 2007 National Poetry Series. Tell us about that experience.
Well, I think, being a poet is to try to imagine the world differently than it's been given to us. I think all artists try to do this. Musicians try to play it the way they hear it. I think poets try to play it the way that they see it and synthesize it. And I should also say most poets wanted to be musicians. And so poetry is about sound.
And that's so true. I feel like when it comes to music and sound, it's literally poetry with audio in the back. That's kind of what it is.
Look, that's what rap music is, right? Like rap music is poets rapping over beats, and then there are the other poets like me who don't have that beat behind us, and so we don't make money.
Yeah, maybe that could be your next venture. Adding some beats back. Okay, so
that's what that's big dreams for me. Is to I always wanted to be a rapper. That's how I ended up trying to write poetry. I just was.
Oh, look at that! See, okay.
This was 1985. Like people didn't know how to become a rapper back then.
Hey, it's still a dream. So being a poet, your final book was Somebody Else Sold the World 2021. But your previous collection of poems, The Big Smoke, was nominated for the National Book Award and was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in Poetry. So what was that like being in that poetry space?
Poetry is the only way I know how to deal with things, right? I mean, and you know how heavy the world can be sometimes, and writing poems is a way to navigate that for me. But when I was working on that book, The Big Smoke is about Jack Johnson, the first Black heavyweight champion of the world, and it's a kind of poetry called persona, which is poetry that's in the voice of somebody that's not the poet. And so these poems are mostly in the voice of Jack Johnson telling his story. And to do that, I spent 2 years researching his life, going to the places he lived. He's buried here in Chicago, before I even wrote a poem. And then when I started writing the poem, I was trying to figure out a way to have him tell his story in poetry. So
why were you drawn to his story to begin with?
That's a really long story, but I'll keep it tight. Okay. We don't have that much time. So I'm a paraphrase, right? My mother is a huge boxing fan, and we used to watch boxing when I was a kid, and we'd watch. This is the 1970s. I'm 52, so it was a long time ago, and boxing was still on TV. And we'd watch the great heavyweights, and my mom would be cheering for one or the other. And if they didn't win, she would say, in a different way, F that guy, he's no Jack. So he was always talking about he's no Jack Johnson, and I had no idea who he was until about, I don't know, maybe 10 years later.
Wow.
And then that's when the project started. I learned about who he was. I wanted to write an essay about watching boxing with my mom, who's this little white lady who's about 5'2". And and can't be told anything, and And, but I wanted to write about that and ended up learning about Jack Johnson, and his story was so
Wow.
important.
So your mom like was the actual roots and inspiration of that project. Wow,
Yeah.
that's I would have
Yeah.
never thought that to begin with. Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to your mother. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she takes all credit for it too. She's like, I'm glad I
Yeah,
gave you that book, baby. Like, that's the kind of thing I get from my mom. Yeah.
that is awesome. Well, sharing ideas and insights, telling stories with words, what inspired you to move into the graphic novel world?
So I'm a big comic book fan and a big graphic novel fan. I have like the complete run of the Black Panther and the complete run of Luke Cage, A Hero for Hire from the 70s and 80s, because they were the only Black superheroes back then. Now, I mean, we've got a bunch. We've got including Ironheart, who's written by this wonderful poet named Eve Ewing, who's here in Chicago. But back then, there were only these couple of folks you could go to, and so I've been reading comics my whole life. And after I finished the book of poems, I hadn't finished telling Jack Johnson's story, and I thought that maybe a graphic novel would be a good way to do it.
Well,
Right.
how can we find you? How can we contact you and find more information about your book?
So I have a website. It's just adrianmatejka.com. You can find me there. My contact info is there, as well as my other books. Hopefully, you'll be interested in those as well. The book of poetry in particular that inspired this, to Big Smoke, might be useful if you're interested in this. And I'm also on Instagram. I can't mess with any of the other social media. I just like pictures.
It's too much, yeah. Well, Adrian, thank you so much. Very, very exciting. I will be on the premises for the Miami Book Fair definitely this year. There's so many things going on this year as a reason to be there, and your book is one of them. So thank you so much. Stay warm up there in Chicago, and we'll see you soon in sunny Miami.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And everyone, so I had the privilege to interview a guest last week. Now it's Miami Meets DC. She's the author of Epic Leadership, none other than Daniela Jean. So we're going to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Miami-Dade Transit's Better Bus Network is shifting into gear. This community-led effort creates better access and an improved rider experience with less wait times and more reliable service. The new network provides more frequent and faster trips to more parts of the county, increasing transit access to jobs, education, healthcare, and quality of life. Learn about the new routes and new connections by visiting miamidade.gov/betterbus.
I grew up down here in South Florida, so for me, it's a little bit more personal.
For the Mesman & Dover Law Firm, it's about community.
For us, South Florida's our home. You all are our people.
Our family, our future.
The difference we'll make for you, your loved ones, your kids, matters, because to us, it's personal.
If you need us, call us 24/7 at 866-954-MORE.
That's 866-954-6673. The Mesman & Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com.
It's time to find a health plan that can keep up with your life. A plan that makes getting care convenient, with doctors around the corner.
I can get used to that.
Plus, 24/7 access to care. Plans that keep more money in your pocket, with plan payments as low as $0.
$0. Looks good to me.
Let's find your health solution. Click to speak to a dedicated Florida Blue agent today.
Now, our guest today, it is Miami Meets DC, a creative's empowering journey through art, writing, and politics. She's a social strategist, author, speaker, and consultant. Now, let's welcome Daniela Jean.
Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world.
Yes, I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. So which of your many titles came first? Because I read your bio and I want to say that you're like, I don't want to say jack of all trades because you're a lady, but you're a woman of all trades. So which title came first?
I'm Jackie of all trades.
I like that. Jack of all trades.
So, well, the first title that came in 2017 was Live Your Worth. That was my first book. And it's kind of like a semi autobiography, kind of charting some of my experiences in life and really challenging my audience to not only know who they are, but really live that purpose out in every area of your life. And that was my first title, really one of my favorite books that I've written thus far.
Okay, so a little bit. So are you based in Florida? Like what's your background? Tell us a bit about that.
So, my background is I'm raised in Miami,
Okay.
of Haitian descent. Both my parents are Haitian, but I was born in Paris, France. So usually when people hear my voice, they're like, where's that accent from? So, my voice, my accent, if you will, is just a beautiful blend of French being my first language, coming to the US at the age of 6, learning English, learning Haitian Creole, and here I am. So this is a little bit about me, but I've been raised in Miami. I'm a 305, so I'm a
Yes.
Miami girl.
Yes, yes, we. I know a little French, but I
Okay,
know more Creole than I do French. We in Miami, so
correct. You got to know a little bit of everything.
exactly. So tell us about Epic Leadership. So you're an author. So what is that about? How did it come about, and what's the concept behind it?
I just wrote Epic Leadership this year and just released. So it's fresh off the press. And basically, what I wanted to do was challenge readers to really tap into the leader within. You've always heard of quotes and terms that says, you are the CEO of your life. And
Mhm.
Epic Leadership is based on the 4 pillars of Epic, which are execution, purpose, innovation, and character. And throughout this short read, I'm challenging leaders to really tap into the passion within. And if you are a leader in any industry, this book can necessarily get you to the next level that you want to be. So tap into the leader within through Epic Leadership.
So, okay, let me dive in really quickly. So, do you work like in the corporate space, or is it more entrepreneurs? Like, what kind of leaders are you trying to help tap into their leadership skills?
All of my books have a general theme through it that anyone in any industry can benefit from. Currently, I'm in government, I'm working in politics, I'm a public servant, and I'm also a business owner. I'm also a creative, I'm also a person that teaches dance. So there's so many layers to who I am as a person. And I believe that in every industry that I've been in, leadership has been a set of qualities that I've had to develop. And so the book basically channels all of those different industries that I've been able to experience and give you that real life experience of how to be epic in any arena that you find yourself in.
Yeah, and you mentioned like you're a dance instructor, you work in government, like so you're like a leader in all of those different verticals in a sense.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
absolutely.
Now, as far as the government, like working in a public service, like I watch a lot of shows, and House of Cards is one, Scandal is one. What's happening right now as far as is it really like that
It's
behind the
all
scenes?
of the above. Really, it's all of the above and so much more. Being in politics and really being a woman leader in politics, you have to be able to have a good grasp of your emotions. You have to be able to pull out great policies, help people. So, and also deal with people and be able to really be effective as it relates to communication and so much different things. So, and deal with the drama of just having to be in a space where people are on the grind, always gritty. And so politics is all that you see on TV and so much more. But the key thing about it is that it really is all about the people. So your decisions as a leader impacts thousands. In my case, over 50,000 residents for the city that I serve. So it's real. It's real. It's
Yeah.
real. It's a real deal.
And representation definitely matters as well, especially in your field. So I can just imagine the different I guess learning curves and also just experiences that you have perhaps went through in your field working in government. So I'm sure that's a whole nother show conversation that we can talk about, but representation definitely matters.
It
Um,
does.
Now back to your book. So your first book tour stop was in DC. So how
Yeah.
was it, and what other states are next?
It was an amazing pit stop in DC. I had the pleasure of connecting with FIU DC and had a pleasure of really sharing the concepts of epic leadership to a group of high school students that were touring in DC. And the experience is amazing. If you've been to DC, you know the blend of politics and the weather and all of that good stuff. So just to be able to share the book, sign the book for the students, and really be able to make an impact was a beautiful thing. So our next stop will be Atlanta, Georgia, coming up soon. And then the grand reveal in Miami as well is coming up. So we're going to go to Georgia and then come back to Miami and share it with the community.
Is that a
Yep.
part of the Miami Book Fair coming up? Are you formed for the book
It's
fair?
a spinoff. We're going to call it a spinoff.
I got you. It'll be a spinoff. That's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
So what impact do you want your book to leave behind?
You know, one of the biggest things I believe is that we don't get to share our story. You know, we all have a story, a testimony, or something that we've experienced in our life that no one knows about. And oftentimes we see great leaders, but we don't know how they got there. We don't know what skill set they've acquired to get to that point. And I believe that Epic Leadership, this book, will be a tool for leaders in different generations to come to really be able to identify what leadership means to them and how to really sharpen themselves in that way. You have to execute. You have to know what your purpose is. You got to be innovative. You got to think outside the box. And you have to have a character that's going to be able to keep you through the different challenges that come your way. So I really want the next generation of leaders to use this tool to really get to where they want to be and level up.
Wow. I could see you like doing like workshops, like, you know, that being like an extension of your book, just doing workshops and being a consultant and helping those excel, you know, in their skill set. So, okay.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, I'll get credit for that. All right. So, so what are you going to conquer next?
You know, next is right in the alley that you're mentioning. I really want to really launch more of a coaching and mentoring and be able to do workshops and help people tackle those tough tools that no one really shares about leadership. And also, shameless plug, I am writing another book. As a writer, whatever skill set you like, whatever talents you have, you always have to venture through them. So this next project that I've been working on is going to be a poetry book about Miami and the different spots within it. So I'm excited about that, but more so than anything, really be able to coach, mentor, and be able to consult people on these skill sets that I've developed throughout the years.
Wow, you have like so much like experience and skills and wisdom, and it's so great that you're sharing that gift with the world and the community, because if you have a gift and a purpose, then, you know, it's just your duty to share that with others for them to grow and learn as well. So
Yes,
what would you tell your younger self, and how old would you be? At what age would you be telling yourself that?
I'm still young now, you know, we keeping it fresh. But I mean, I would go back to 12 years old. I would go back to 12. There's a picture that I have of a school picture that I took when I was 12. And I think the one thing that I lacked that at that time, or had yet to discover, is confidence. It's confidence in who I am. And I would tell my younger self that believe in yourself. Like you might be the tallest in class, you might be different, but be confident in who you are. Believe in yourself and who God has created you to be. That's what I would tell my younger self, for sure.
That's amazing. And one of my favorite phrases is from Oscar Wilde, and he says, "Be yourself because everyone else is taken."
There you have it.
Yep. That's it. Yes.
That's
so
it.
How can we find you? How can we learn more about your book and get more information?
Well, you know, Danny Empowers is the tag, the handle on Instagram, you know, Facebook. I'm not on TikTok yet, but I'm going to get there. But Danny Empowers is where you can find me, or you can put my name in Amazon or Google. You'll find all kinds of articles about me. Don't believe everything you hear, but but Danny Empowers is definitely the way to go for all things writing, creative, and that's the platform that I share everything on.
All right. So Daniela Jean, are you related to Wyclef Jean? I'm just,
you know, distant cousin from somewhere around the way, maybe.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations. And we'll catch you in Miami.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Miami-Dade Transit's Better Bus Network is shifting into gear. This community-led effort creates better access and an improved rider experience with less wait times and more reliable service. The new network provides more frequent and faster trips to more parts of the county, increasing transit access to jobs, education, healthcare, and quality of life. Learn about the new routes and new connections by visiting miamidade.gov/betterbus.
I grew up down here in South Florida, so for me, it's a little bit more personal.
For the Mesman & Dover Law Firm, it's about community.
For us, South Florida's our home. You all are our people.
Our family, our future.
The difference we'll make for you, your loved ones, your kids, matters, because to us, it's personal.
If you need us, call us 24/7 at 866-954-MORE.
That's 866-954-6673. The Mesman & Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com.
It's time to find a health plan that can keep up with your life. A plan that makes getting care convenient, with doctors around the corner.
I can get used to that.
Plus, 24/7 access to care. Plans that keep more money in your pocket, with plan payments as low as $0.
$0. Looks good to me.
Let's find your health solution. Click to speak to a dedicated Florida Blue agent today.
At DRT Behavioral Services, we provide culturally sensitive mental health evaluations with thorough treatment plans, incorporating alternative forms of wellness, not just Western traditional medicine. Besides medication management and psychotherapy, we provide education to people in the areas of minority mental health with classes on your diet's impact on mood and sleep hygiene for better rest. We also offer weight loss therapy, massages, and facials. Visit brainlovehelp.com today.
Now we're going to be talking about the G code behind the bar, a hip hop connoisseur's guide through corporate America. He's born in Queens, but he is a Miami executive. Now introducing Lamar Ingram. Hey, hey, hey.
Thank you for having me.
How's it going? How's your day going?
Oh, the day is going well. No complaints.
That's good. That's good. So I read your bio. I read about, the G code briefly, but tell our audience, what is the G code exactly?
So the G code as a book is my homage to hip hop and business in combination, but the literal translation, the G clef is a music clef. That's what everybody's familiar with. And then the code stands for literally the hidden messages in hip hop to help you in the world of business. The G code. That's why it's behind the bars.
So were you in the music industry and then you kind of crossed over?
So I was an aspiring rapper. I went to SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design, for video and film. And I kind of got into music very heavily, had a little independent career for a little bit of a little stint, but, crossed over into business, had to grow up, give up the hobby.
Okay.
Became an adult.
Got you. Had to adult, huh? Okay, I got you. Okay.
Adult.
So you were in the music industry. So how did you gain knowledge of the hip hop industry in order to apply this to the corporate landscape? Because your book talks about the hip hop industry and using that skill into the corporate landscape, right? So how are you able to switch and then use those skills into the corporate landscape?
So I think when you're in love or an advocate for hip hop, when you're in the hip hop world, obviously it starts with the music, but it started with the music for me. And I was heavy into the music. And what I started to realize is the business life or corporate life, a lot of lessons that were applicable in corporate life were kind of discussed in hip hop, in rap music, but they don't highlight it. It's just like kind of hidden. It's like the second layer, past the double entendres, past the catchy hooks. You get these little messages about how to conduct yourself and how to operate in the business world to be effective.
So what is one hook that resonates with you?
Actually, the one that resonates the most is a song with no hook. It's Prodigy's song, Keep It Thorough. And one of the lines, is temperamental, I stamp quick, very touchy. And a lot of people think that's a good thing. And it's a good thing when you're outside in the street, but that's not a good thing in the business world. Actually, the most calm and collected person, the most comfortable person in any circumstance or environment, whether it's going bad or good, is the person who's the most successful. So in some cases, it was a lesson of what not to do.
Oh, sometimes I'll listen to like some rhymes and I'll try to there's a lot of metaphor. It's very, very metaphorical. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. So like Kendrick Lamar, he when he raps, like it's poetry, but there's a message behind it. But some of
Always.
them I'm like, wait, I have to kind of like Google it or kind of like listen to it over and over again. But but yeah,
Definitely.
it's a hidden message within their message in a sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how many hip hop artists crosses over into the corporate space? Like, because you were an aspiring artist and now you're in the corporate
Mhm.
landscape. So is it a lot that crosses over? Like what's that number like?
So I won't say it's a lot, but here's the thing. If you have a mind for business and you're entrepreneurial, at some point in time, you're going to either want to start your own business or get involved in business, right? A lot of guys that start off in rap music, a lot of people that start off in rap music, tend to be entrepreneurial by nature. They're creative. They don't fit the mold and they don't want to necessarily join and live that cubicle life, for lack of a better word, right? But what happens is once you realize the parallels between the two, you realize the cubicle is there, but it's not a constraint. It's just the uniform for the job. So in my case, it was easy to cross over. And I've seen a couple of people take the same route.
So do you think being an entrepreneur is different versus working in the corporate industry in a sense?
Well, it depends, right? A lot of people would prefer to be entrepreneurial, but sometimes you have to have a high tolerance for risk if you're going
Yeah.
to be entrepreneurial, right? When you're in corporate, while it's still creative, while it's still business, part of being corporate is that you get to avoid some of that risk because you're in a structure that's already been set up, and all you have to do is operate at a high level to be successful.
Well, thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Hopefully we'll see you at the book fair. We'll keep in contact and thanks for being our guest.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. All right, y'all. So we'd like to thank our guests today, Lamar Ingram, Adrian Matejka, and Daniela Jean. Again, support their books, visit their websites, follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Let's come together and support our authors and our authors of color. Again, this is MIA Soul, and we'll see you on the next episode.